In this video, I'm going to walk through the second batch of designs that I've come up with for review rounds. I got a lot of feedback from the first batch, and those are still in the issue. They're just archived if you would like to go back and look at the changes that have been made. So in the first round, I had these labels that would, depending on the label type, it would kind of automatically assign roles that needed to review that merge request. Don't know why I did that. We already have approval rules and code owners baked into the product. So that's kind of the biggest change here. So in this example, this is the merge request page skeleton. And this is the scroll down a little bit, and this is the approval widget. Right now, I find our approval widget to be a little confusing and cluttered and, well, mostly just kind of confusing. So I'm wondering if we could remove basically all of the rules and code owners from here. So in an actual merge request example, we've got this. I only touched front-end files, but it's not really clear that it says optional, but then why is it showing up here? And I just, it might be personal. I find it confusing. So in this example, I'm wondering if it's possible to kind of strip this entire area out of here and put some of it into the sidebar. If it doesn't work in the sidebar, maybe move it only into a widget. I don't know yet. That's not really, I guess, the important part here. So here's the approval widget. When you look at the sidebar, so the author has created a merge request, and now they need to assign reviewers. In this example at the top, there are code owners that are required and approval rules that are required. There are 4 required, as it says right here. They're listed here, and then there's that option to add another reviewer if you want some sort of domain expertise or something like that. If you don't have any required code owner or approval rules set, then it will just show 1 required, or however many you have required, and that's kind of how GitLab has actually set up the project. We have 1 required approver, and it can be anyone with the correct permissions. So that's kind of what we would see. I've also introduced this merge request status. It says waiting for author. This will hopefully, again, it doesn't have to go in the sidebar. I don't know yet where it should go. Maybe it should be incorporated into the main status badge. I don't know. This should hopefully give anyone who's looking at the merge request a really quick overview of what exactly is happening. So here's the first status, waiting for author, wording to be determined, because I don't think that's very good. But anyway, you're waiting for the author because they haven't assigned reviewers yet. So they might be doing self-review, or they might be waiting for a pipeline to pass or something like that. When they're ready to select their reviewers, they'll click the person or the role, and it will it will show only eligible reviewers from that rule or code owner rule. So in this case, let's say there are 3 back-end code owners, and it will show those, and then that person can select them. I don't know about the flow of this one yet, but ideally we would show some kind of text field. Again, I mentioned this in the last one, but you can post a note, so you can say, specific things that you want to. From here, you can also add another reviewer, or you can go back and do it all one at a time. I was thinking if you add another reviewer, it would just show another rule that you need to populate with a person, and then you could kind of batch all of your requests at once, and then you'd submit it, and then the sidebar would be in this state. So it would show all the people, the corresponding rules that they are representing, and then there's this person happened to assign it to an optional reviewer as well. The merge request status has not been changed to in review by default. This isn't something that can be edited by anyone. When one of those people visits the merge request, just like in the last batch of concepts I had, they'll see some kind of alert that's like, hey, author has requested a backend review from you, and then you can begin it or dismiss it, whatever. This hasn't changed either. The reviews will somehow be batched together, so everything from the initial request from the author to the approval, any comments that the reviewer added, any changes they think should be made should all be batched in one kind of activity entry. And the only difference here is there are filters now, which was pulled from a piece of feedback and also something that I was exploring in the merge request restructure. Some way to kind of filter the activity. We do have the option to filter out or to show only comments or only activity. I don't think it is necessarily enough. So In this example, we are only looking at reviews. When the reviewers have looked at it, they can either approve it or not approve it. This is still up for debate and things that we're exploring, but right now for sort of the more basic, for now I'm just playing with the idea of having approved and not approved. So it's still in review. In this example, Casey, as you can see here, did not approve it because they think that there should be changes made. They've submitted their review without the approval. So this is what the sidebar would look like. And then when the author is ready to request to make those changes or, argue why those changes shouldn't be made, then they'll click this button and it will re-request the review from Casey again. Once everyone has submitted their review, whether or not they approved it, then the merge request status becomes something like changes requested. It does not block the merge request or anything like that. It just signals that at least one person has not approved it. And yeah, I think that might work or not. I don't know. And then once everyone has approved it, submitted their review with an approval, then the merge request status would be approved, and then the author can carry on with whatever they need to do to get it actually merged. I think that's pretty much all the changes. So I also have a little breakdown of all of the statuses that you can have and what states would trigger that status. So there's waiting for author or something like that. There's the in review status, which is constant until every single review has been submitted. Then there's the changes requested, which is that one person has not, at least one person has not approved it, but everyone has submitted. And then there's the approved, which is when everyone has approved it. That's it. Thanks.